essentially, I wanted to know because I've seen so many ads of like people are like, I have this trading robot that I use and it makes me 400% um, every day or 2 days basically, and it promises these get rich quick schemes. And I've always wondered whether they actually work and what are people's experiences using them. And from what I've gathered, just looking around on Facebook, Instagram, is that usually it ends in tears and people lose tons of money on them. But what's interesting and what's contradictory to this is that if you read, there's this research which has done this industry statistics research done on 69 Forex brokers who basically gave their data to this researcher. And these 69 brokers all said 90% of their successful Forex traders on their platforms use robots. They don't trade manually. That's interesting. So these robots are expert advisors. So if you go to your MT4, you'll find there's a section on an expert advisor. In short, what an expert advisor is that it's like having a trading robot that trades like you. So if you say you trade the 8 moving average strategy, um, your robot will place a buy on the 1 hour when price starts moving above the eight moving average, and starts to sell when it goes below that. Do you get what I'm saying? And it will stick to 1% risk. And all you do is you tweak. Maybe once you start getting to your drawdown or your losing streak, and a lot of people don't talk about this, but I'll tell you right now, most successful traders have 4 months losing trades, which isn't bad because essentially it just reduces your profit level. So if you start off making 60% a year, you will have a drawdown period. Say sometimes it can be 4 months straight, and that will reduce say your returns from 60 to 40, and then again you start increasing again. Anyways, but the point is that once you start hitting your drawdown area, you can start tweaking the risk um, with the risk section, and you can reduce your risk. And so that's what an expert advisor does. If you go through some of Anton Creel's work on YouTube, he'll tell you that a lot of institutional traders nowadays actually don't know how to trade. And that's an interesting thing, which I also heard this guy called Neil, I'm forgetting his name, Neil some, it's not Neil Fuller, it's Neil something else. He's an institutional trader with banks, I think with Merrill Lynch. And he said the same thing, that the institutional traders don't know how to trade. And all they do is they manage these softwares where they just implement a strategy which one trader will know how to trade. And these guys just punch in the numbers to ensure that risk management is adhered to. That's all they do. So I was like, okay, if these expert advisors are doing so well, how come people are losing money with these robots? Do they actually even work? And this guy who runs this platform called the Armchair Trader, he wrote this beautiful article. As you probably realize by now, I love to read. And in this article, he says, yes, they do work. These robots work. I want to get involved in machine learning and creating my own robot so that I can spend my time doing other things. Because if it can trade the way I do, then I think it could actually do better than me. Because honestly, sometimes emotions get in the way. Um, sometimes emotions just get in the way, and robots essentially remove that. So he says, yes, these robots do work, but like with your own strategy, where you have to constantly update it and change things, you have to do the same with your robot. And also, a robot is only as good as the trader behind it. I thought that was very inspirational. He says the robot is only as good as the trader behind it. So if you're a winning trader, if you're a good trader, your robot will be just as good as you. If you're a poor trader, your robot will be just as terrible. So that's reassuring to hear. I yet don't know how to code or create my own expert advisor. I know there's some demos you can try and change and input your strategy to, but I personally would rather learn how to code and get some IT skills before I start dabbling in machine learning. And so this is no, in fact, let's start off with this one. I found this one interesting. There's this guy called Fest FX. I think he's quite popular here in Cape Town or the Western Cape province. And he was selling a robot. And so I was just like, okay, let me go through some reviews to see how people are responding. And it's bad, guys. It's absolutely bad. All of them, from what I've gone through, were giving 1 stars and saying, it's a terrible, terrible robot. It just blows and loses your money. Again, was what I was saying was that the robot only does what you do. If you do not know how to calculate your risk, if you don't know how to calculate risk, you're just gonna blow. And what ends up happening is because the robot only does what the trader does, uh, essentially it blows, and that's what it does. These people were promised things like um 89% win rate. And I've talked about win rate before, guys, and I've said win rate means nothing. I've seen people with win rates of 89% blow accounts. It means absolutely nothing. It's the worst thing to go by. But I think that Instagram and a lot of these traders have told you that you need a high winning rate. Yeah, it cost 10,000 for this robot, 80% profitability. And I think the reason why people were scammed is because they believe in this win rate. That win rate means nothing. There's so many books you can read. Way of the Turtle is an excellent book where it talks about this winning rate. And winning rate just means absolutely nothing, because you can have a 35% win rate and you can, lose most of your trades, but the ones you win, you knock them out the park. And that's essentially what you should be doing. But yeah, a lot of these people scammer, don't waste your time. I bought a robot, it didn't work, 10,000, then invested another 20,000, 30,000. And what's actually sad is all of these are terrible 1 star reviews. But in total, you'll see a 2.9, because I've heard that a lot of these people actually just pay other people to give good reviews, or they create accounts themselves and give good reviews. So in the end, if they just keep pumping out good reviews, they can go from 1 star to 3 and even 4 stars. As you can see, just if you scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, you essentially see that. And if you go to this guy's Instagram, to his the guy who's selling the robot, if he goes to his YouTube, I think he was advertising that he makes, I don't know how, he made I think just over nearly 2 million rands. And I just did the math on my phone, and I'm like, if there's 66 reviews and this robot costs 10,000, that's your 700,000 made in a bag. While these people are complaining and complaining and complaining, you've already nearly made 1 million rands. And that just tells you the industry you're dealing with. People will tell you one thing and essentially scammed, and it's really, really, really sad. Um, You see, and then the good reviews, you can tell this guy is one of the paid people, because he's talking about how his journey, and don't listen to people on social media and what. We're talking about a robot, and he's talking about someone's journey and family man. This has nothing to do with the robot that doesn't work, by the way. But anyways, besides that, the point is that essentially you should be careful, because the people will sell you a robot and it just doesn't work. And you should be essentially very, very afraid. Win rate, number one, win rate doesn't mean anything. It's useless. It doesn't help you in any way. Number two, they usually cost a lot of money and they don't do anything. So this guy, First FX, if you look at his YouTube, it's actually quite nice. He's a family guy. He talks about his life and whatnot. And what's interesting is when I went to his website and he talks about his testimonials, I really think this guy is a trader. And from what I read on these testimonials, is these guys are actually, they went through his training, and they've most of them have 5-7 years training. And his testimonials, they have 5-7 years training, and that's realistic. In order for you to do well, you have to be looking at 7 year period, 5 year period, 3 year periods. Like this guy, he only started to see results after 3 years. That's realistic. Anyone telling you anything less than that is not true. But the thing is, this doesn't sell. So these testimonials are really honest. I think they're really true. He really has all these testimonials. But the problem is, most people want the get rich quick. They don't want to learn. They want to get rich tomorrow, and that's the biggest thing. And these guys have been trading for a really, really long time. So he definitely is a trader. This guy, 10 years, um, well, not 10 years, but essentially he's been trading for some time. And all these guys who he's trained have been in the game for a really, really long time. And so I really think this guy really is a trader. It's just that people want to buy these robots that do the work for you. And he's like, listen, if you want to throw money away, I'll receive it. And I don't know, it's life. But and then there's this guy who I'm a huge fan of, Siam Kid. You guys should check out his trading robot. I've been watching this guy since I got into the game, and I'm so blessed that I started off listening to guys like the realistic trader, the armchair trader. There's this guy who runs one, I think it's called One Leap here or something funny here in South Africa. And I started off my trading journey listening to these realistic traders who were saying, listen, aim for 28% a year, aim for 32% a year. And so that means learn how to actually trade and have the big account and not trying to spin accounts, which never works. And so even though his course cost like £5,000, I could tell you now it's worth the money, but you don't have to invest it. You can learn from him if you go to his YouTube. I remember binge watching his YouTube, reading all the books that he'd talk about. Like when he talked about black swans, I'd immediately go and search what's this black swan. It's a book written by Nicholas Taleb, and he talks about black swan events. He also has a book, Skin in the Game and Fooled by Randomness. And he's a institutional trader, but a really, really good mathematician. And he talks about how in like even in life, he talks about how a trader, for example, has 1,000 trades. Say you have 1,000 US dollars, and you are betting on with $1 every time. He says you could lose 500 straight trades, losing $1 at a time. All you need is a few good wins, and that's what risk management is about. And essentially, so I was blessed to learn about these people. And so he's just launched his robot, and this one is much cheaper than his course. And essentially, it's £100 and he gives you your money back. If you don't see, I think it's 20% a year. If you do not see returns of 20 something percent a year, you can give it, like he will give you back your money. Realistically, I've been watching this guy. I reached out to him on LinkedIn. He even responded. He's a really, really great guy. This guy's lost, I mean, he lost a ton of money when he started out. And he's absolutely great in teaching fundamentals in macro and microeconomics and stuff like that. He's a businessman on top of just Forex. And so he's taught a lot of the stuff I've learned from him about getting involved in business. For me, it's now I'm involved in liquor, which is the business I'm really interested in. And so he teaches about how Forex mainly is just a way for you to grow your money. And so, for example, have a career on the side, whether it's business, legal, IT, whatever it is, and then use your savings to grow through Forex, or your business profits, use them to grow through Forex. That's how you make big money, by making 20% a year, 35% a year, and things like that. And his robot has done really, really well. From all the reviews I've read on Facebook from people, not the ones he's posted here, just reading from people, they will tell you his robot is amazing because he's a good trader himself. He's not promising you to flip your account 7 times. He's telling you, listen, I will make you 28% a year guaranteed. And that's just amazing. So they do work. That's just the realistic part of it, is that they do work. You just have to be careful who you're giving your money to and things like that. More of the story, they work, but you have to be careful which robot you're using, and especially with people trading on your behalf. If you're going to use FestFX, I would recommend you maybe go to his course and not his robot. I really do think that maybe he has great courses. I think he's a great teacher from what I've read on him. I think he's a great teacher. I just think maybe his robot is terrible, or maybe it's people who don't know how to use the system. I'm not too sure. Okay, wow, the robot costs 10,000, the system another 1,000. Okay, signals don't work. Don't even bother with that. Okay, so maybe he's a bit pricey. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I'm not gonna recommend this, but I'll recommend Siam Kid. That's who I can recommend. I won't recommend if it FestFX, because if you lose your money, then you'll come after me. I would highly recommend Siam Kid. He's the guy. Even if you inbox him, the guy will respond. He's lost money for clients in the past. He's given their money back. He's all around. It's a great coaching service. That's it, guys.